Human behavior change. Where do we begin with all this? For each of you here, the thing that creates human behavior change is that concept of who we think we are, or more importantly, who we want to become. So we're going to use a fancy phrase here like we did this morning. And this phrase is called character idealization. This is a very fancy phrase that I use to charge people more money. And just seeing if you're here. Just testing. You've heard the phrase, you need a vision for yourself. So the question is, what is that ideal vision for yourself? If you're a character in the movie, what does that character look like? How do they behave in certain scenes of difficulty or triumph? If you're the character in the movie, what's their journey like? Who are they surrounded by? All of those concepts we all know so well in personal development. But when I think about advanced human behavior change, I'm like, okay, I need to understand what's the character that you're trying to build of who you are. Like your character, what are the rules your character follows in the game? What are like their playbook rules? What are the things that you know that this character in any given situation, they're going to do these things? If you've been with me training for a long time, in coaching, we often call these your success markers, the things you're going to do that make you successful. You just know you're going to do these things. You're going to do them over and over and over again because that's the character of who you are. That's your character to behave in those patterns, right? Your character behaves in patterns, has rules for their behavior in certain situations. And you're trying to grow into the best of that by enacting those behaviors. I know that sounds like a lot, but the clear question to you is, do you have vision for that? And have you sculpted those types of rules for yourself? So this character idealization is so important because many people don't have it. In fact, most of the clients I've ever worked in my life didn't have a very good set of one and didn't have it at all. And that sounds really bad. But the thing is, you have to know who you want to become. Otherwise, you're just in the continual fight of daily reaction. Your impulses are driving you versus intention. I don't want you to be driven by impulse. A lot of people are slave to impulse their entire life. They're just in reaction, and they never had that clear intention to grow, to become something that they chose. So they ended up something as an accident. And I think that's fine in your teenage years. Once you get in your 20s and your 30s, you should be like, I want to become a person who is like this. So you might write that down. I want to become a person who, what? I want to become a person who, what? I think that's where change begins. We could say that change begins in pain or pleasure, as Ed taught, but I think there's a bigger picture. Because sometimes you'll endure pain to become the person you want to become. You'll go through hardship that doesn't have as much pleasure as you want to become the person you want to become. Sometimes it's tiring, it's fatiguing, it's difficult, it doesn't feel good at all. And you're still doing it. Why? Because you're living into a vision. And that's your job. You want to change? You've got to live into a better vision. That's where it begins. Right? Leadership always teaches the power of vision. The question, though, if we all hung out is, do you know what yours is yet? We're going to talk about how important this gets in your life, but it can shift everything. I'll give you my list here. Grabbed it from my phone back there. Here's some of mine. You might write down some of yours. Those patterns that you want to follow. 1, for me, vision for excellence. This is a part of my character idealization. I'm like, you know what? I want to be a person who people go, that person's excellent. They're an excellent teacher, excellent business person, excellent in their marriage, excellent in what they do because they care. They care. Guess what? That requires me to develop conscientiousness, as we talked about this morning, right? That requires that. Turn the person left, right, grab them, shake them, and say, have vision. Shake them good. Shake them good. Look how simple this one is. What's it say? What's it say? Show up. That's what Ed did today. Show up. Some of you know I celebrated my birthday this week. And I wish I could clap with you, but the truth is I got the flu this week. So for the last 72 hours, I've been in bed. This morning I got in bed. I didn't want it. I felt so terrible. Backstage are taking such good care of me, and I'm doing everything I can to get my body going. Those who know my voice well, you've heard me kind of messed up here all day. Like, it's just, man, Ed and I are laughing backstage. We're like a bunch of two dizzy old men up on stage up there. Can you imagine the odds of he and I both being sick? But you know what? We're going to show up. So much of it is showing up. Listen, let me tell you what. The biggest difference is showing up isn't just showing up to your obligations. Showing up is showing up for courageous things in life. Someone's struggling, show up for them. There's something that needs to be helped, saved, served, show up. Showing up, as they say, is half the battle. And I never liked that phrase because I think it's so much more than that. I think you being a person who shows up for yourself, for your dreams, for other people, it's a different level of permission and ownership. I give myself permission to show up at the table even though I don't feel like I belong. I give myself permission and ownership of my life to show up even if I question my self-worth. I give myself permission and ownership to show up even if I don't feel it. That requirement to show up, even if I don't, quote unquote, feel it, that is the essence of what we actually call in psychology self-discipline. Isn't it? Your discipline requires you to show up even when you don't feel enthusiastic, energized, hyped about it. That makes the difference. And some of you have seen me on stage over the years. I've showed up on stage with literally a snapped wrist, a thrown out shoulder, 2 broken ribs, a broken foot, a brain injury, a neck injury. I do dumb stuff. I know. I maybe show up for too many adventures in life that cause downstream problems. But showing up, I'm going to show up at the negotiation table. I'm going to show up every single day. I'm going to show up for my dreams because I own my dream. If I own the dream, it's like if you own the cat, you got to feed it. You got to show up to feed it. You own the dream. You have to feed the dream. You got to be there for the dream. Everyone say, I own my dream. Yeah, you got to own that dream. So I'm going to show up for the dream. Third rule I have, very simple. Give, what's the word? Give maximal presence, joy, and effort.